All right, welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and it is official. At least it's a little more official for those who are clinging on to the doubt that this would ever get made. First, they told us it was going to be a movie on AMC or AMC Plus or whatever they're doing there. Then they said it was going to be a theatrical release. We have partnered with, who was it? Universal? It doesn't matter. And now it's going to be a TV show, 6 episodes. But then, oh no, 6 episodes plus it could lead to a couple seasons coming after that, depending. And now they're saying, oh, it might, I don't know. They're being ambiguous with the episodes. But anyway, since my new channel, Flaw vs. Saw, is up and running, if you haven't heard the update and you want to go and subscribe, our first main milestone is 1,000 subscribers because that unlocks certain things we can do on the back end. I'm not going to bore you. If you're new here, you know what it is. If you're not new here, you know what it is, and you know if you're interested in checking it out. If you're new here and you want to check it out, it's called Flaw vs. Saw Review. I'll leave links down below in the description and in the comment box. It is just check it out, see if you're interested. But if you know what it is, we have videos that we've already uploaded here that are going up one a week, and we have some that we're making tweaks on, making them a little better, and also fixing some copyright issues. And then we have brand new ones that are going to drop. The first brand new one is Halloween Ends. I'm going to shuffle them around a bit to get that one out even sooner, but just bear with me. That's pretty exciting, but it's also a little nerve-wracking starting off brand new, but I feel like it's needed. And since the channel is up and running on its own, and that's only Flaw vs. Saw reviews, Flaw vs. Saw reviews. Did I say that? Wow, I did say that way wrong. That's only that, and also the once in a while top 5, top 10, top 20 lists for different things for movies. Anyway, the point is, since that's on its own, it gives us some breathing room to talk about The Walking Dead. And if there's anything that I wanted to talk about as far as The Walking Dead is concerned, it's going to be the conclusion of the Rick story. That's what we started with, and that's what hopefully we're going to have an awesome ending to. I have my doubts, but we'll see. Now, there's a couple areas where I think fans need to taper their expectations because I'm seeing a lot of stuff that just doesn't line up unless they're going to do some crazy twists. Now, we got the images that I think maybe I messed up in the beginning, but the fans that were clinging on to hope, this is the nail in the coffin of speculation and doubt that it won't get made, because these images of actor Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero playing Michonne and Rick, and then Scott Gimple as the showrunner. I think I screwed up her last name. It doesn't matter. Anyway, well, I mean, not to be mean, but I'm keeping it moving. Anyhow, you're beautiful. I love you. I got a little crush, by the way. Anyway, I lost track. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So these are pre-production images. They're meeting to do pre-production. Andrew Lincoln had a problem with filming, yada, yada, yada. That's why he left the main show. Considering he's here for pre-production and they're supposed to be filming in January, I think production starts in January, he's probably here for pre-production that's going to lead into production. I don't think you need to be a film fanatic to do 2 + 2 on that one. Anyway, so this is it. It's a done deal. They're here, they're rocking and rolling, and this is going to kick off. Now, the problems we're seeing, maybe we'll look through some of these comments as well, but the problems we're seeing is, one, Scott Gimple. There's a lot of fans who still are not happy and kind of cautious about Scott Gimple being the showrunner. I will say, man, I'm right in the middle. There's stuff that he's done that I absolutely loved. When I go back and rewatch season 4, I talk about this from time to time. I absolutely love that season a lot more. At the end, I know everyone brings up how they split up, and that's a budget issue, breaking up the cast. It's one way to work around the budget, especially leaving an actual set that they had. But I get it. However, going back and rewatching it, I think season 1 has a lot of power. It goes on to get a little more complicated because we don't know exactly his duties and what he's directly responsible for and what he's indirectly responsible for as the show went on. But he's going to take a lot of the heat. And so I'm in the middle. I'm nervous as well. And I hope he brings his A game throughout the whole process. One other thing is Michonne. The actor playing Michonne, she's also a writer now. I think writer producer on the show. I'm very iffy on that. Not because she's a bad writer. She's actually an accomplished writer. But sometimes a writer slash actor can be too close to a project. She's also talking about this being like this epic love story and yada yada yada. And that makes me want to throw up in my shorts and then slap her with it. But it's fine. Want to do a love story. Here's the thing where if I could do a quick comparison, you have this love triangle. You have a lot of, family drama going on with The Walking Dead season 1. You have the situation with Rick, Lori, Shane, Carl, yada, yada, yada. Now, when they're pitching that, it's mentioned time to time. When we talk about season 1, it comes up, that dynamic comes up, but it's like, not the first thing when you're like talking about this Walking Dead experience in the show and da da da. They didn't come out and go, oh yeah, this love triangle. Oh, and there's zombies. So I'm hesitant but again, you got to be cautious and understand they need keywords to get fans excited. We know there are a couple. We know they see a lot of shippers online that constantly do the Rashon. So in their head, they're kind of flooded with the shipper nonsense. And I think it over exaggerates how many fans are interested in romance. I don't care at all about the majority of romances on there. I care about the characters and the interactions. And most people do. The majority of people watching are not sitting there, obsessed with relationships. Some of the fan base is. That's fine. I don't want any part of it. But so that's an issue where little puppy, my daughter's probably playing with the puppy. She's yelling in the background. But if that's that yip you heard, don't worry. No one's being slaughtered in the back. The duct tape did not come loose. I promise. Anyhow, so that makes me a little bit nervous knowing that she's the writer. I just hope she can keep a focus on it, an eye on the prize. A love story between the two characters that were together. Last they left, they have a child together. It makes sense for it to be in there. Absolutely. But I want something to end this with a bang. And a love story being the main thing ain't really it. But we'll see. We'll see. Because Bone Tomahawk was an incredible movie. And it's a undercover love story. Watch that one if you don't know what I mean. Anyway, 6 episodes is something that a lot of fans are talking about. Before they said it was 6 episodes, not purposefully ambiguous, but it felt accidentally ambiguous. And then they came out and corrected it and said, if this does really well and a number of different factors, it could lead to more. You don't know. 2, 3, it's not going to go 100 like the original series, but 2, 3 seasons, you never know. Now it seems like they're sticking with this is a limited run. I have a sneaking suspicion that, and this is going to lead into the 2 biggest problems, the reunion with Daryl and the reunion with the kids. I think a lot of fans thinking that's going to happen. I think you need to brace yourself, especially the Daryl. The kids can be done, but the Daryl one, no. Now here's the thing. First off, the 6 episodes, I have a feeling it's going to be left, and we're going to get an ending where there is a conclusion, yet there's an openness to it that leaves it open for a potential something later on. Now, that could be a follow-up season, or it could be a movie, or it could be anything. Because with a franchise, you see it with Star Wars. Everyone thought, yep, Star Wars is pretty much dead. And then so much time goes on, and boom, we get Phantom Menace. And then it's like, okay, this franchise is dead now. We got, first 3 movies, then the next 3 movies. All right, it's dead. And it kind of lingers around. And then it gets rebought. That's besides the point. But then it comes back to life, and then we get 3 more movies and then spin-offs and other stuff. So this doesn't mean it's the end, because this is a franchise that's going to continue. I said it would last for 50 years easy. 10 years has already gone by. I said that in season 1. It's already been 10 years. So we got 40 more years left. Get used to it. And we're going to have time where there's no Walking Dead content for a few years. It's bound to happen, especially with the way AMC is running it into the ground. We learned some new information with lawsuit stuff that came out. Essentially, maybe if you're interested, we'll cover it one day. But basically, the way the money men calculate streaming and how successful it is and how interested they are into investing in it and yada, yada, yada. To put that simply, the faster it can turn a profit for streaming, and that's such a simplified way. But maybe we'll go over that that information one day. But it's new stuff that came out too. Very interesting article. If I remember, I'll try to link it. But the faster they can create money from their revenue streams, the better or more reliable the more powerful that streaming service is. But long story short, if AMC keeps the budget super low and then they get a high return on streaming the episodes, AMC also has a lot that is still the old fashioned TV, where a lot of others is they're going head to head with actual streaming services that you show up, you pick what you want to watch, you watch it, and usually they do an episode dump for most of them. So there's a number of different factors, but having that be an issue that is going to continue most likely with The Walking Dead, and it's going to directly butt heads with The Last of Us. And I'll mention this just briefly because I'm confident that when The Last of Us comes out, that is a 9-episode, $100 million budget, or a little over $100 million. I think it's like $20 million per episode, compared to The Walking Dead's $1.4 million. I think the last recorded was 1.8 officially, but sources revealed it's between 1.4 and 1.6. And before you go crying, it's 3 million. No, that's earlier seasons. Anyway, it's like under 2 million. And that's versus around 20 million per episode for The Last of Us. When people see that, it's going to be like you play PlayStation 3, then you go and play PlayStation 5. Forgive me for the gaming example, but if you're not a gamer, I don't know. But you play PlayStation 5, and the graphic upgrade is very impressive and like, whoa, yeah, but still it's not insanely impressive as going from like Nintendo in the 80s, going from 85 to PlayStation 5. But it's still impressive. The finer details are there, yada, yada, yada. The problem, though, is when you go back to play PlayStation 3 again, try it in real life. It is like, that's bad. Even the games you love and you're nostalgic for, you gotta admit, it looks extra terrible. There's something about, even on newer consoles, there's something about going back and playing a game that the graphics held up, like The Last of Us, the remaster for PlayStation 4. You play the remake now, and then you go back and play the remaster, and the graphics don't hold up. It's just something where you get this switch that's clicked on, and how much better it can look. When you see what they do with 20 million, and you see the locations, the landscapes, and then you go back and watch The Walking Dead, there's no way they don't lose a chunk of fans, because it just will not hold up. Anyhow, I'm not going to go over that too much because we'll have to wait and see. Last of Us comes out January 15th. We'll talk about it on this channel when it drops, but I am convinced that's going to hit the Walking Dead franchise hard. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but I think they better prepare. They better tighten up, start throwing more money at it. The Walking Dead makes a ton of money, but part of the biggest problem is if they can find something else that will turn a profit. See, they own The Walking Dead, so that's why they're clinging on to it as their breadwinner. But funny story, real quick though, is they did they did a test to see if they could actually sell AMC or be absorbed by another company, and all the other companies were like, and this is from that article, all the other companies were like, you have nothing but The Walking Dead, and it's going downhill. You have nothing. So they couldn't even be bought out if they wanted to. How crazy is that, knowing The Walking Dead was king just years ago to today, where companies are like, yeah, if we're looking for stuff to buy up for streaming to consolidate, we wouldn't even look at you. All you got, AMC, is The Walking Dead, and it's not even doing that good, But if they're smart, they would, buy it and reincorporate it and then build it back up. Anyway, so the two biggest problems now is Daryl, left to discuss, is the reunion with Daryl and the reunion with the kids. Now, the reunion with Daryl is the biggest problem because he's going overseas. Now, listen, I only watched the finale of the main show once. I wasn't all that impressed by it. It's just so sad seeing a show you absolutely love and then it just ends in a way where it's just I don't know. But when I saw the ending for the first time, I'm a comic reader, comic fan of The Walking Dead. I understand. I have the comic with Rick's brother, and he was overseas. And Michonne talking about Rick's brother, part of my brain immediately switched to they want comic fans to talk about his real life brother. They want us to make believe it's him. But when AMC comes back and airs the Rick show, they're going to be talking about Daryl. Daryl somehow gonna get close to finding Rick, but then get captured and sent overseas. Where's he going again? France? Get sent overseas. And that's going to be, mixed in with the whole pot of what's going on to kind of thread the connective tissue from the main show to Daryl. He's going off to find Rick. Oh, he found a big hint. Maybe he was communicating with Rick even. That would be interesting. And then Daryl gets taken away. Part of me is thinking, like, no matter how much it sounds, even if they come out and say, like, oh yeah, it's Rick's brother, I just feel like they're pulling an okey doke on there. I haven't looked at explained videos or more deeper breakdowns. Maybe it is Rick's brother and they confirmed it. I don't know, but I just don't trust it. And I think they're talking about Daryl and they're kind of weaving the connective tissue in that aspect. Now, for Daryl, he's doing most likely multiple seasons. It would be ridiculous for him to, unless he wanted one final farewell, unless in his eyes he was going to continue, but AMC's like, nah, nip it in the butt. And they can find a way for Daryl to go away but come back. But here's the biggest problem. You're going to have the Rick series filming now, right? And I think Daryl's show started filming. I should have looked up which one's going to air first. But the point is, no matter how they air it, unless they air the finales, somewhere at the same time for the Daryl show, which one do you put it in? Do you leave the Daryl show off on a open ending and then have his reunion in the Rick series? How do you do that? Especially if the Daryl show is supposed to go for a couple seasons and the Rick show is one season. So for a reunion, it looks like one of the only ways, if they want to keep this going where this is one season and the Daryl is multiple seasons, thread it similar to where Daryl is on to Rick but then gets taken away. And then Rick has a reunion with his family and then save the Daryl reunion for the Daryl show. You get me? I mean, it's all over the place, but what are you going to do? They have it broken all over the place. I still think the strongest thing you could do is staring them dead in the face. You have Commonwealth. It's already set up. Bring all the fucking characters back. Have them meet, but then have them go out on their adventures so you don't have this lingering reunion bullshit in the air. Now, it works with Rick because that's going to be the draw for a lot of fans, but that's where I feel like they'll backfire because even if you look at some of these comments, you're going to see a ton of them. Here's one. We need to fire Scott Gimple as a showrunner. We get it, but please, if you have any say in the story, make sure they reunite with Judith and RJ. Now, here's a lot of people. You look through the comments, and they're bloodthirsty on a reunion. I don't think it's going to happen, man. What would that say? Happy fans don't write the show. Having them reunite with Judith and RJ in the first season would be so bad. The CRM alone is going to take an entire season to deal with. The first season should focus on Michonne finding Rick and Rick first arriving at the CRM. Now, they're under the impression it's going to be multiple seasons. I still am suspect that they'll do it in multiple seasons because one 6-episode season will not be enough. We have to cover where Rick has been this whole time unless they just blow through all of it. If that's the case, what are we doing, man? Because anyway, and then you have, if Rick doesn't reunite with Daryl again, you guys fumble hard. Again, he's got his own show. I mean, how are you going to make those reunions happen? I still think the solution here is to just bring them all back to the Commonwealth, have them split out for the show, and put the money into the damn locations. Because some of this is super cool, but you get sick and tired of how they cheat the locations where they'll have some sort of poor CGI showing a landscape, and then they'll zoom in close with the usual brick with some vines, or the chain link fence with some vines and some dirt, or the worst. For so many seasons, we had the tarps in the background. The blue and gray and green kind of work tarps. You'd cover a ATV or a truck or something with it, and they constantly would cover these because they don't want to CGI the background. So they constantly have chain link fences, or they string up tarps in the background. It's made to look all dirty. They'll throw boxes and broken up shit in a car over there, and then you have like these dirty ass ripped up tarps in the background, just covering shit that they don't want to CGI. That's how cheap AMC is. And even if in some cases they threw it up to make it look extra dirty, it just looks boring as shit, So I think they should, or me as a fan, I think they should finish up the reunions and then knock it off with who's going to reunion with who, eventually bring them together, and then start focusing on real stories. You have the Walking Dead universe already. Now start getting in there and focusing on, if this was a totally new property, people are going to come up with a brand new awesome zombie story in 10 years out of nowhere, and everyone's going to go nuts. That idea can be done in the Walking Dead universe in a new property, not in a new property, but with new characters and new places and new events and stuff like that. The stories will always be there, but you have to put it into something with passionate zombie fans. And I think that's one thing that's sorely lacking. The first few seasons felt like this was being done by zombie fans. The newer stuff doesn't feel like zombie fans are in charge. It feels like people that want to pad their resume, but also they understand that they're zombies. So they have to deal with the zombie stuff. Now, the people making the zombies, they love it. Greg Nicotero and his crew, hell yes, with zombies. But you can tell AMC doesn't give a shit. They told us they don't give a shit. Remember AMC's notes all the way back in season 2? Can't we just hear the zombies outside and know that they're a threat? That's a real note from real AMC given to Frank Darabont. And people wonder why he was so pissy then. They talk about, do you have to make someone up all as a zombie, just color a hand and have zombie hands attacking people? Some of these ideas are just stupid as shit. Now, so the reunion's going to be a big problem, especially with Daryl. Maybe we can talk about it more when we start getting more information. I don't think Daryl's going to be a reunion in the 6th episode. I don't think it's possible, especially since he's going overseas. You let me know what you think. Now, with the kids, this is possible, very problematic, because you're going to have to wrap up Rick's whole story in 6 episodes. Rick, the CRM, everything that's going on there. From what we're hearing, Rick is trying to leave. He's been trying to escape, but they have to give us a solution to why Rick is even important. It has to be something big, because if he's such a problem, why wouldn't they just clap him and be done with it? Oh, hey, I found that Rick guy. All right, light his dumb ass up and get back here. We got shit to do, He has to be important. So they're going to have to do the connective tissue with Rick, tell a cool ass story in 6 episodes, and then reunite with his kids. Now, let's say they do it in the 1st season. All right, so Rick and Michonne are separated for a couple episodes. Then they have their reunion and it's magical and yada yada yada. And then we finish off this love story with them finally escaping and returning home after just 6 episodes. They reunite with the kids. That might work. Because the kids have not aged out. Here's the big problem. Let's say a couple years are going to go by. Who knows what's going to happen with the kids and in real life, the actors, and then they have growth spurts. Now, a lot of people could say, just recast them. Now we're getting into this ridiculous, the reunion just isn't the same. You could recast a baby that, 6 years has gone by and they go from a baby to a 6-year-old, because you don't notice such a stark difference. But when you take an actor who's recognizable, even as a youngster, and then you bring a brand new one in there, it just has such a cheap and artificial feel to it. And I think it's off. So they have a number of problems staring them dead in the face with how long is this going to run, and even if they do have a reunion, is it going to be too much crammed into 6 episodes? So with this kicking off, unless there is with the production, I mean, unless there is anything crazy or cool, we might talk about it once more here and there. I don't think I have too much more unless you guys got a lot of questions. We can pull a Q&A and do something when we have our first look images. We can kind of combine it. You let me know down in the comment box. I would love your opinions, though, on what do you think for Scott Gimple? What do you think for Denai as a writer? What do you think about the 6 episodes? If it's only 6, do you want more than 6? Do you want less than 18? How many seasons? 1, 2, 3? Do you want them to keep the episode number low for all the seasons? And also the reunion, Daryl reunion and the kids reunion. What do you want? Do you want it? Do you not? I mean, what are you thinking when it happens? Because of the problems there. Anyhow, those are my thoughts and opinions. I'm gonna shut up now. I wasn't planning on talking this long, but it's been a minute. So leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment box. Oh man, I totally forgot, yo. Doomsday Kingdom. We opened up an Etsy shop. We just released issue 6 of Doomsday Kingdom. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. We started shipping UK orders. I'm waiting on my batch of USA stock, and then I'm starting to ship out now for those who already ordered issue 5 and 6. But if you haven't yet, check out doomsdaykingdom.com or go over to Etsy. It's like etsy.com / shop / Doomsday Kingdom or / whatever. But I'll try to leave some links down below. But check that out. And then once we get 5 and 6 out, we're going to restock some of the older issues, back issues, and we have new covers for issue 2 coming out. And we also want to jump right into issue 7. We had a delay in 2022. I have a whole update video coming out, so it's going to be explained soon if you have more questions. That'll hopefully be out tomorrow or the day after, but stay tuned for that. That's coming. All right, I'm going to get going. This is way too long, but thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.